Hello, and welcome to Once Upon a Page. We are here today with Kevin Thompson, and you will notice that we are missing one of our three musketeers too. Erin is not feeling good today, so we're just gonna make do without her. We should have had like a cardboard cutout, and like one of
That
us
would have been
held
a
it
good idea. Yeah.
next time. We'll have to do it next time, assuming it happens again. I'm sure it will. Okay, so today we are interviewing Kevin Thompson, and Kevin just got a huge honor. He was listed as a finalist for the Selahs, which is one of the big writing contests. What do we call these things? Yes, competitions, awards. So that was for his latest book, The Letters. Kevin is a husband and a father and a grandfather, although you don't really look that old. So you must have very young grandchildren, right?
My oldest is a sophomore in high school, and
Wow.
then I have two that are 10 years old, and then they go down to 8 years old from there.
Okay.
I would not have guessed.
No,
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't
We
have guessed
started
either.
young. My wife and I were married when we were 18, and we had our first child when we were 20. So we kind of got an early start on things. So.
Right. Okay, so your bio that you sent us says that your grandchildren call you crazy. We know that you're a writer, and you like Star Trek and NCIS. So you and my husband would have lots to talk about because he likes those two. And you write thrillers, right?
I delve into the suspense and thriller categories, mystery, kind of that arena. So even the letters, even though it's in the speculative fiction category, it's kind of there because it's a little bit. Somebody when they read it, they said it was a cross between NCIS and Frank Peretti. So that's kind of give you an idea of what the letters is like. But so I kind of delve in that arena more than anything.
Okay. Okay, and I also know that you are an assistant vice principal, right?
I am. We're on spring break this week. Woo! We
Okay.
count days more than the kids do, I think, as far as teachers and APs and other staff members. We're looking at the end of the year dates even more than the kids are, is counting them down. So
Yes, my husband is a teacher, a high school teacher. So yeah, he is right there with you. He's counting down, and he is on spring break this week too.
He is. All right.
Yes.
Good for him.
Yeah. Okay, Heather, do you want to start the fun questions?
Sure. And they will be. There'll be lots of fun. We don't ask super, super hard questions until the end. One, I have read the letters. I enjoyed it very much. And I've read Frank Peretti. I will say it's not as creepy as some of his can be. But I get what you're saying on that, what the person who told you that was saying. I want to know, though, what inspired the letters?
You know, what really inspired that was I had been thinking about a similar storyline for a couple years, and then The Shack came out, and and I heard a lot of people talking about it and so forth. So I read it. I wanted to see what it was all about, and I just felt like there was the storyline that I had originally designed, that there was a good skeleton there, good bones to build off of there, and just took the the kind of the inspiration of the whole dealing with loss and dealing with bad decisions and that kind of thing. And then the story just kind of ran from there. But I wanted to handle a different subject. I didn't want to rehash the same thing, so I chose a different subject. So the book does deal with the issue of abortion, but it doesn't deal with it in what a reader I think would think is a typical handling of the situation. Try to handle it a little differently than what would be thought of as an abortion book per se.
Awesome.
Okay, so my question is, if you could only have one genre to read for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
It would be, for me, mystery and suspense, because to me, even though that's a genre unto its own, there are so many other genres that have the mystery and suspense element to it, so that it does, I mean, if you watch Star Trek, so many of the episodes is a mystery that has to be solved. And you start delving into other genres, the same thing. So just for me, I like the figuring out the whodunit part. I just do. So that's why that list of things that I sent you, all the shows that I watch are all mystery, suspense.
Yes.
That kind of show.
So he's cheating so that he can read all these other genres. He's saying this one because it goes into all of them.
That's a good
Or
way to do
smart, one of the two. My second question is, what makes your books different from what's already out there?
Well, my books deal with spiritual issues, and they deal with real life issues. I had one, matter of fact, the very first editor publisher that read my first book, The Serpent's Grasp, called it smart fiction, in that it was, she said it was heady without being confusing or just way out there literary kind of stuff. But it dealt with the issue of what is truth. My Blake Myers series deals with the issue of what is true peace, but it does it in a more of and what I feel anyway is more of a real world way, as opposed to there being a lot of preaching in the book and a lot of preachiness. And then the letters, that one deals with really the issue of redemption and forgiveness, based on very monumental decisions people make in their lives that aren't good. Even though it deals with the issue of abortion, you could take any subject and plug it in there, and the topic is still the same. We make decisions. We may have regrets. Sometimes they're heavy regrets, and we have to deal with that, and how God handles that in the life of a person, even a person that's not a believer. I think that's kind of what sets it apart from a lot of other things that are out there.
Awesome.
Okay, so when you're going to sit down and write, what is something that you absolutely have to be able to write?
What do I have to have? I have to have in the morning, because it's usually when I write. I typically get up somewhere in the 4 o'clock range, and try to write for a little while or read something in relationship to what I'm writing before I start, getting ready for work and so forth. So I have to leave early and be to school by 6:30. So in the morning it's coffee. Gotta have strong coffee. In the evening or on the weekends, then it floats back and forth between coffee, and I am a non-recovering Coca-holic fan, or Coca-holic, and I keep trying to tell myself I don't need to drink it, and so I'll go at least a few hours without doing it, but then I'm back at it again. So yeah, usually one of those two things. I mean, I have a bottle of water right now, but I'm trying to be good. So.
Trying to be good.
Trying to,
Yeah.
the constant struggle.
Yes.
Okay, my last question. If there was one author, dead or alive, that you could meet, who would it be, and what would be the first thing you asked them?
Wow. One author. I would, well, that was tough. I would have to say probably Charles Dickens, although Michael Crichton would be a very close second, and for different reasons. Charles Dickens, very monumental in a lot of ways. He is part of the reason why we have copyright laws today. And just so you know, the stories that he wrote, beyond A Christmas Carol, obviously, that was probably the most influential one he wrote. And then Michael Crichton, I've always appreciated him because he wasn't going to be a writer. He was going to be a doctor. And he wrote books to put himself through medical school, and actually wrote under a pen name. And then one time, then he wrote The Andromeda Strain, and it did so well that he decided to put his real name on it. And then that's kind of when he changed his plans and ended up, he did finish medical school, but he didn't become a doctor. Instead, he became a writer and used that to his advantage. Wrote DR and the TV show that was on for years. So I kind of resonate with that because he wasn't a writer his whole life like Charles Dickens was. He did something else and then got into writing, and that was kind of how I got into writing. And I did it on a dare, kind of a dare. I was a language arts teacher, and I felt like if I was going to teach kids language arts, I needed to put my money where my mouth was. And so I needed to be writing and doing something outside of school that was writing related, and that's how The Serpent's Grasp came into being. And so when it won the Selah Award for debut novel in 2013, and so I felt like I was on the right track. I felt like I was kind of backing up what I was saying to all my students. So.
Always important.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, one last question. Are you ready?
I'm ready. You said the hardest one was for me, so I'm scared now.
I think Heather's was harder than this one. I think this one's more fun.
Okay.
All right. If you had 1 month and money was no object, where would you go to write?
If I had one what?
1 month.
1 month? Ooh. Had 1 month to write and money was not an issue. I think I would go, I know this sounds crazy. My wife and I were just talking about this last night. I think I would go to the island of Shetland, and I would find a house somewhere that overlooks the ocean, and I would spend a month there writing. It would be inspiring. You said money was not an issue, right? So that's
Not an issue. Yeah. If we're going to dream, we might as well dream big, right?
Yeah.
You can even add a cook and a housekeeper and all of that, so that
definitely. It'd be great.
Well, we have enjoyed getting to talk with you today, and want to congratulate you again.
Yes.
Viewers, if you haven't read the letters, I suggest going and getting it. It's really good, and you won't be sorry you did. And then keep watching, connect with Kevin on social media, things like that, so you can find out how he does at the Selahs this year. We've heard he's won once back in, what did you say, 2013? So this would be the perfect year to do it again. So be sure and check that out, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.